Wrestling is back on the Pac-12 network, and we make our first appearance in the desert for really what is ASU's only true home duel this season at Wells Fargo Arena, and it will be a tough one up against the number 2 ranked Oklahoma State Cowboys. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is JB Long with former Olympian Ken Chertow. Great to be with you. And really right now, ASU and Oklahoma State at different levels as programs. But really, we'll get a chance to feature some great individual talent today and talk about 2 really historic programs, Ken.
Well, absolutely. I mean, Oklahoma State's won the most NCAA championships of any team in wrestling history, any team in sports. They're a dominant program. And then Arizona State, they've been NCAA championship team, and they had 2 NCAA individual champions just 2 years ago.
Part of the reason that ASU is rebuilding right now is simply a matter of youth. 26 freshmen and sophomore compared to just 2 upperclassmen. So where might they be able to challenge Oklahoma State today?
Well, they got a chance in 3 or 4 weights they could get it done, but particularly in the upper weights at 184. Kevin Radford is an NCAA qualifier as a freshman. He's having a good sophomore year. He's got the potential to win if he can get his double leg roll, and that would be key for him. At heavyweight, boy, Levi Cooper is a horse. If he can finish one takedown, one leg attack against Gelogaev, the master of the counter wrestling and the master of the whizzer, he would be in business. But on the other hand, Gelogaev is an awesome wrestler with a lot of repertoire. He can blow it open there, too.
They have weighed in and drawn the starting weight class today. It'll be at 149, so we'll work our way up to those featured matchups, Ken, and that means that we're going to see number 1 ranked, 3-time All-American Jordan Oliver for Oklahoma State first on the mat. The rest of today's starting lineups coming up when we come back to Tempe for Pac-12 Wrestling. In just over a month, Wells Fargo Arena here in Tempe will play host to the Pac-12 Conference Tournament in early March. Today, though, it's number 2 Oklahoma State and host ASU. We'll go through 10 weight classes today, starting at 149, working our way up through the heavyweights, and then double back for 125s, 133s, and 141s. And as we found out upon arriving at the arena today, ASU already going to start in a bit of a deficit. Had to forfeit 197 because of an injury to Jake Meredith.
Yeah, Jake Meredith has a little concussion syndrome, and they're playing it safe. But overall, we'll have some great bouts tonight.
And so this duel starting at 149, we get a chance to introduce Preston McCalmon, redshirt freshman, 0-2 on the season. And going up against the number 1 ranked wrestler in this weight class, Jordan Oliver, a perfect 20-0, a 3-time Big 12 champion.
Yeah, one of the best wrestlers at any weight in the country. He's just a leg attack machine. You saw him going upper body a little bit. That's not usually where he is. This is where he wants to be. It's a near arm, far leg, really good technique. He's going to drill some takedowns here. I mean, there's a big difference here. We're talking about an NCAA champion versus a freshman. It's could be Arizona State's got their hands full here, but we'll get to watch Jordan Oliver work.
How about this? In 20 matches for Oliver this year, 18 bonus point win, Ken, and 10 falls to his credit already.
Yeah, he's a machine. You've seen him do the same takedown twice, the near arm, far leg, outside fireman's very effective takedown. Looking for a slide by here, perhaps.
And willing to just give up the simple escape points at this stage of the bout?
Yeah, he'll run up. You just take him down and let him go. You run up the score. It builds you a lead. You can work him towards a pin as the match progresses. Honestly, if Jordan Oliver really wanted to pin him, he probably could early, but probably wants to work on some moves, get his offense going, work on his leg attacks.
Our referee, Charlie Jones, awarded 2 points for a couple of takedowns, a point each for the escapes for McCalmon so far. Introduce our scoring. 2 more there for the takedown.
Yeah, he's just a leg attack machine. Jordan Oliver can penetrate better than about anybody in the country. And he really looks happy up 2 weight classes. You young wrestlers at home, Jordan was miserable dropping down to 133 the past couple of years. He's bounced up 2 weight classes to 149, and he's still dominating. He's having fun doing it.
Won the 2011 NCAA title and 3 All-American honors at 133, to your point, Ken. This is the Olympic bronze medalist Coleman Scott's training partner this summer at the 2012 London Games. I'm sure he benefited immensely from that experience.
Absolutely. And having Coleman in the room is great. I mean, Coleman was NCAA champion for Oklahoma State at 133, the weight class that Jordan was at previously. And now that Jordan's up in weight, I'm sure they're going at it. I know they are going at it hard in practice. There's some great battles there. Now he's big enough to wrestle Zach Esposito, the other NCAA champion, who's an assistant coach on Oklahoma's team. I mean, their staff is just loaded, so Jordan's got plenty of training partners.
Meanwhile, for Preston McCalmon, the redshirt freshman, he's filling in for an injured Nathan Hoffer, who was one of just 3 Pac-12 freshmen to advance to the NCAA championships last season, also battling injury. So McCalmon's in spot duty. He made his ASU debut last weekend.
He's fighting hard. He's not just letting him run through him. He's slowing Jordan Oliver down a little bit now. That wasn't very good. It was an easy snap down, go behind.
Another 2 points for the takedown and a 10-4 advantage.
You know, Jordan's a Pennsylvania boy, and I remember when he was young coming through, he was always quick on his feet. I mean, he just changed his levels like dynamite. I mean, just amazing natural gift to change levels and change directions. Those are skills you have to be a great leg attack wrestler. Jordan has them.
3-time state champion in Pennsylvania during his prep days, and it's continued on as a collegiate. His career record 103-6 coming into this afternoon's duel.
Getting to see him work on top now a little bit. He's working the claw. He's looking at the clock, trying to decide if he's let him go or not. He obviously made the decision to cut him loose. Looked for maybe a little. I was looking for a little sweep or shrug there, and he went with the sweep. When you have that overtime position, you go either direction, and he has a great slide-by shrug motion. His high school coach, Steve Powell, loves to emphasize the slide-by and shrug. I love personally using and teaching the slide-by. It's just a great move. Very popular in Pennsylvania. As you see John Smith, the head coach there, looking on. Interestingly, John met Jordan Oliver. I remember in junior high at my wrestling camp, Coach Powell comes up to me and says, we got to introduce him to John, because he knew that Jordan could change levels like John Smith. John Smith's one of the greatest wrestlers ever in the history of our sport. He changes levels so well. He does it like Jordan. He's like, wow, this guy does change levels so well. And boom, next thing you know, a few years later, he's at Oklahoma State.
His head coach, who we showed you just a moment ago, a 2-time Olympic gold medalist, 6-time world champion. You and I could sit here all day, fill these entire 2 hours talking about John Smith and what he's done in the sport.
We could. He was just a leg attack machine, very dominating. And Jordan is trying to follow in his footsteps. You see Jordan attacking low, getting the corner on the sweep single. Good angle. That's the key to finishing a good leg attack. Getting that angle.
After a 3-minute first period, now a 2-minute second, also a 2-minute third if necessary, and 2 more points awarded to Jordan Oliver. Also has a point of riding time working in his favor, now 1:40 on the clock.
Well, he's going into what's called a Turk position. He's trying to hook that back leg and drive to the back. He might be thinking pin here. I'm not sure if he's going to try to go for the fall or get more back points. Yeah, he's getting close to the technical fall, so he's going to have to try to work into a pinning hold. This is a very tight, uncomfortable position for Arizona State, but it's difficult to pin him staying where he's at. That's a torture hold right there. I remember learning that from Dave Schultz. Dave Schultz is a California wrestler who went on to become an Olympic champion. He's a legend in our sport. And he was amazing with the Turk, the bent leg, the Turk finish that Jordan was using right there.
Near fall points have been awarded, just not totaled.
Right, he's got to let go of that leg. As soon as you freeze the leg, he'll be giving those points.
And there they are, 3 of them to add to Oliver's total.
So look for a cradle possibly here. He thought cradle. He must have heard me. He was thinking crossface cradle. Because the deficit's so big now, the next set of back points would be a tech fall. So he's got to pin him. It's Jordan Oliver's responsibility to show dominance and pin his opponent here, not just get a technical fall. And so far, he's not being real physical yet on that near side cradle. 30 seconds left. It's almost like he's going to wait out the period, perhaps.
Ken, for our uninitiated audience, tech fall when the lead grows to 15?
Absolutely. That gets you an extra team point. But if you pin him, you get an additional team point, which is definitely Jordan Oliver's goal. Jordan Oliver's looked at the clock and decided that he's not going to go for the fall in this period. He's going to tinker around, and he's changed his mind, but he's not going to have time to pin him here. This would be a tech fall unless he pins him right here. In short time, he's going. I guess he could decide he could pin him in under 5 seconds.
Just when you thought he might take it to the third. Instead, he finishes it in the final seconds of the second period, and Jordan Oliver stays undefeated, improving to 21-0. Now 19 of those 21 wins have earned his team a bonus point. You can see Oklahoma State out to a fast 6-0 start on ASU.
Near side cradle. There's short time left in the period. I guess he decided he was bored and it was time to finish it off. That's tight. Wow, he didn't even have his hands locked. He had the wrist in the near side. There you see Jordan, Coach Smith, chatting about the match a little bit. Wow, he really has filled out, growing from 133 to 149. His strength training program is paying off. You can see it there in his chest and arms. Now we're going to get another match going.
To 157s for Oklahoma State, it's Alex Dieringer at 18-2. For ASU, we're expecting to see Cody Combs, a talented freshman from Georgetown, Delaware. Unable to go, though, so it's Joel Smith, a 5'5", redshirt sophomore, making this appearance.
And Joel Smith got right to it with the nice leg attack. But you got to finish. That's the difference between good and great, is the great ones can get in there and finish quickly. Now, Alex Dieringer, he's a phenomenal high school wrestler. He's one of the most highly recruited wrestlers in the country. He comes out of Wisconsin. His club coach, Jim Schmitz, developed him throughout his life in ringers wrestling. Alex Dieringer is a ringer, and he's a really good go-getter with leg attacks.
Carries a top 10 ranking into this weekend's bout. As for Smith, he's back to his natural weight class here after a couple weeks at 165.
Yeah, and this is great for him, a great opportunity to showcase his talents at a weight he's comfortable with. And it's a big match for him. Holding his own so far.
Two-time state champion at Collins Hill High School, Lawrenceville, Georgia.
Yep, that's the powerhouse in Georgia. Big school. Coach Cliff Ramos built a powerhouse there, and he's moved on to a smaller school now, but the Collins Hill dynasty continues on. Joel Smith's got to break free and get some space. This looks like a stalemate. Neither wrestler wants to do much here, and that's what we're getting. Charlie Jones, the official, steps in and calls stalemate. You know, I met Charlie yesterday at a kids tournament. I was doing clinics throughout the day yesterday here in Phoenix, and he refereed all day yesterday, and they told me he went home and watched Iowa and Minnesota on television. He is a lifer in wrestling. He's been officiating for 37 years. He did a great job with the high school guys yesterday, and he's excited to be here for the Doom. I talked to him before. He enjoys this level the most.
And we're excited to be here to televise it for our audience. One of the top programs in the country in Oklahoma State. National championship team here at ASU back in the late 80s as well. And for that youth group, the group that you work with these days, how important is it to have televised examples of what they could become?
It's huge. I wish when I was growing up I could see more wrestling on television. This gives young people a chance to aspire, and this is the goal. And as I teach children, I'm trying to teach not just wrestling, but also the work ethic, the discipline it takes to be successful in life and ultimately get to college. If you love wrestling, you want to wrestle in college, so you got to get great grades and be a dominant wrestler. And the Pac-12, there's lots of opportunities. These colleges are giving scholarships to these kids, and the West Coast wrestling just keeps getting better and better.
Just under 40 seconds remaining in this first period, still awaiting the first takedown between Dieringer and Smith.
You know, honestly, I didn't expect this match to be quite so close. That's a nice job by Dieringer. He used the same takedown that Jordan Alver used in there on far leg. Now, I knew that Joel Smith was coming out here, and because Combs was bailed out due to injury, and I thought Dieringer would handle him a little quicker than that. It took him 2 minutes and 40 seconds to get a takedown. Now, this is an important 20 seconds. He's got to try to ride him out. This will be key. Can Smith get off bottom? First move was good, but let's see what second move he got. Oh, my.
That there in Dieringer's favor.
It's not a good sign, JB. He didn't have much back pressure. He didn't get any hand control. He would need to be able to get off bottom quicker. More sense of urgency. And Dieringer's just riding it out. He's not trying to turn him. He's just trying to hold him down these last 2 seconds.
Loss of Combs for ASU is a big one. He leads the team with 3 tech falls this season, a winner in 4 of his last 5 duels. Smith trying to fill his shoes.
Sweet near arm, far leg, sweep single. Exactly what Jordan Alver used 4 or 5 times in the previous match. Nice technique. They are workout partners. This is not something that Oklahoma State necessarily does a lot of, but Jordan Oliver does a lot of it, and Alex Dieringer definitely is taking a liking to that move too.
Dieringer on top to start our second period. Looking with a 2-0 advantage on Joel Smith, the redshirt sophomore.
He's pretty much I thought he was going to let him go. He got called for stalling because he did it, which was a bad move on Alex Dieringer's part. He only had 5 seconds to return the opponent to the mat, and he basically held on for 5 seconds, did nothing, and rightfully got called for stalling. So, hey, let's see if Smith can and get back in the match. Joel Smith has a chance to make a name for himself, to defeat one of the #1 recruits in the country. I mean, Alex Dieringer is a champion, national champion, first team A6 All-American. He's just a dominant high school wrestler, and he's had a great freshman year. So let's see if Joel Smith can stay in this match. So far, he's hanging in there.
And so far, 5-5 on the season. A mix of 157 and 165 participation.
This will be interesting, you know, like you say, he just come down to 57. Can he maintain his intensity the whole 7 minutes? So far, he is doing well, and he's wrestling hard. Now, as I say that, he gets more persona. I like Charlie Jones' call. He doesn't mess around. If you don't take action, you're going to get called for stalling, and he's shown that now. These guys got to take action. They're both capable of it. They both need to open up a little bit more and get to the legs more.
Now, Ken, they've had a warning each. What happens if Charlie Jones continues to believe that they're not engaging properly?
And he's gonna if he doesn't circle in. Arizona State has to circle in right here to answer the question. He would give up a point. The second warning results in a point. So both these wrestlers need to pick it up here, or somebody's gonna get one for stalling.
Especially in a bout that's currently at a 1-point margin and no riding time. Points on the board just yet.
These guys are both capable of changing levels of attack, and I want to see if one of them can open up and get to the legs. Right now, Dieringer is just hanging on that head. He's looking for a pick. He's looking to pick the ankle, maybe scoring the edge. There he goes to the near arm far leg. Smith shut him down. All right.
Back to the center. Dieringer earned this top 10 ranking, at least in part due to one really big weekend in early December. Notched 2 upset wins against then number 12, Andy McCulley of Wyoming, and then number 9, Matt Lester of Oklahoma.
Yeah, well, when you come in as a freshman, you know, it takes you time to make a name for yourself, and that's how you do it.
It's a good way of doing it.
You beat ranked opponents. So nobody knew exactly how he'd jump in as a freshman. You don't get ranked until you start beating some good guys. So he's just steadily climbing the rankings. In Oklahoma State, to challenge for national championship, to challenge Penn State and the other top programs, they need points from him. They need All-American honors and big points out of Dieringer. They're hoping to develop him.
Those are perhaps the 2 biggest of his 18 wins so far this season. And looking for a 19th against Joel Smith of ASU as we go to the 2-minute third.
I got to tell you, the Oklahoma State coaches are not satisfied with his performance. They're a little bit disgruntled. He's not picked up the pace. I expect him to get away quickly here. Let's see if he gets 1 and 2 and goes right for a takedown. Let's see if he's got the energy to go right after him when he gets away and get on his offense, because that's what the Oklahoma State staff obviously wants from him, is offense.
Saw the escape there. Getting a point for a 3-1 advantage.
Boy, speaking of action at this weight class, you know, Bubba Jenkins was the NCAA champion at 157 for Arizona State just 2 years ago. He had a great super duck, a low single. He was a takedown machine, and he was fun to watch. Bubba was an exciting wrestler, very dynamic, crowd favorite.
Chance to talk about Anthony Robles as well a little bit later on when his classification comes around. Nice to see him in attendance here this afternoon.
Yep, he's got the front row seat right across from us, actually. VIP seating, and he is soaking in the match very intensely. He's checking out. He still follows our sport closely, runs around the country, giving motivational talks to businesses and companies and wrestling groups and camps. I mean, he does great when he speaks at our camps. I mean, great motivational speaker. How inspiring. What he's achieved is amazing. To win an NCAA championship with 1 leg, for you folks who don't follow wrestling, boy, it's just an incredible accomplishment. You're looking at Anthony's girlfriend in the near ground with Anthony behind him there. It's just amazing. Now, as we get a little action here, the crowd gets into it. You know, Oklahoma State's not doing much here. Smith's controlling and aggressively now. Smith's defending himself well, but obviously when he's losing 4-1, he needs to create some offense. You know, you just asked me questions about Bubba Jenkins and Anthony Robles. Those guys were offensive machines. We need to see 30 seconds of offense from Joel Smith.
The home crowd here at Wells Fargo Arena trying to support him in that effort. Final 25 seconds facing a 4-1 deficit. Riding time not a factor.
Well, Joel Smith has fought hard to defend himself, but really hasn't shown much offense. Dieringer has been unable to open up the match. I didn't quite expect this close of a match, this low scoring of a match, but there you have it. Smith hung in there. We're going to end up 4-1.
Dieringer will get the decision. Looks like he'll improve to 19-2 on the season, and the Cowboys take the first 2 of this duel. Coming up, we'll see 2-time All-American Tyler Caldwell. He takes the mat at 165. That's when we come back to Tempe. We're at Wells Fargo Arena in Tempe, where in just over a month, the Pac-12 will host its conference tournament. Oklahoma State with a 9-0 lead over, well, the alma mater of a former national champion. Great to see Anthony on hand, and it reminds me, Ken, of really what a close-knit fraternity the sport of wrestling is.
Absolutely. You build relationships, you're in the trenches together. You know, and Anthony's a great role model for people, and he's here following his alma mater. I mean, he's close to these guys, and he wants to see them succeed.
Both coaches today, individual greats during their collegiate time on the mat that have come back to coach their universities and found some success doing it. You're another example of that, Ken. Why is it that this sport, it seems to be unique that, you know, people who've had great success on the mat want to stay with the sport?
I think if you love wrestling and you do it as a competitor, there's no pro wrestling. So you end up getting engrossed in coaching and focused on that. Maybe in some of the other team sports, the best athletes go on to be pros, while some of the lesser athletic wrestlers, maybe some lesser athletic pro football players choose to get into coaching.
First 2 points to Tyler Caldwell for the takedown. He comes in carrying a number 3 ranking nationally for Oklahoma State. And with Joel Smith dropping down to 157, here we are at 165. And Rush Hall, a sophomore from Hoover, Alabama, makes his collegiate debut.
Yeah, this could be a big challenge in a debut match because Tyler Caldwell is a beast. I mean, he's got some great leg attacks. He's a very dominating wrestler. He was in the NCAA finals just 2 short years ago. Only reason he wasn't a top contender last year is he took an Olympic red shirt to try out for the Olympic team. And one of the main guys standing between him and the Olympic team was the gold medalist, Jordan Burroughs, who's now making, you know, his name for himself as Olympic and world champion.
Caldwell, a 2-time All-American, top 5 as a freshman, then runner-up, as you mentioned, as a sophomore, that in 2011. Riding a 5-match winning streak as they arrive in Tempe this weekend.
He's actually a unique story, and not only did he take the year off, but he changed schools. Like, he had that success you just referenced to at Oklahoma University, but during his redshirt year, he got to training with some different wrestlers from different teams, and he built some relationships, and he moved down the road to Stillwater. Very unusual transfer from OU to Oklahoma State, especially in the prime of your career after success.
And if you're familiar with collegiate wrestling or the state of Oklahoma for that matter, you know that is not an easy transition to make, crossing the Bedlam border.
Yeah, he's got to be an expert in the tensions of both schools. But in his, I don't know if defense is the right word, but it adds more to that. There was a coaching change at OU as well. So when there was a coaching change, he looked and explored other opportunities, and he ended up down the road at Oklahoma State.
Back points coming here already with a 2-0 lead. And a minute to go in the first period.
Yeah, he just did a classic Oklahoma State tilt that John Smith popularized, the hammer lock. You put the arm behind the back and then go under the other arm and tilt him, and that's exactly what he did. It's a well-known tilt. It's good. It's very effective. It's hard to tilt the top college wrestlers, but if you can put their arm behind their back, oh, it's money.
And counting up now to 2 minutes, his advantage in riding time in this first period as well. We're at 165. The Cowboys have taken both of the first matches and working on a third here against Arizona State.
He's getting near fall points. He's tightening it up. He could get the fall if he chooses to go for it. He changed to a headlock. He is going for the fall. He's trying to lift the head up to get the shoulders down. It's close. And it's over.
As you pointed out, a tough first matchup for Rush Hall, the sophomore making his debut, going up against one of the best in this weight class. Tyler Caldwell wins his 6th consecutive match.
Nice, tight side headlock, but here's the key. After he gets his back points, he changes to a traditional headlock.
So head now to 174, and here is another top-ranked wrestler for Oklahoma State in Chris Perry, undefeated on the season at 20-0. And for ASU, Ray Waters, 0-2 on the season, just a freshman. Waters filling in for Blake Stauffer, who is 20-2 on the year, but has been out with injuries. That's another big loss for this Sun Devils program, Ken.
Yeah, absolutely. But Perry's a beast any way you shake it. He's one of the most dominant wrestlers in the country. He might pin him with a snake here. That is a tight snake. I love it. Deep arm across the back, deep arm over the head. He's going for the fall. Let's see if he decides to finish it and close the deal. He's got to drop his right hip to the mat if he wants to get a pin. He's going to lift the head. He's trying to decide. He's actually talking to the coaching staff. Yeah, he's going to go for the fall. They want him to finish. I was looking forward to seeing some Chris Perry technique, but it's looking like it might be a short match here. At 20-0, he's looking for another pin.
And there it is. So quick, we didn't have time to mention that the man he was looking over to for advice, Sean Smith, he's his nephew. Also the son of former two-time Oklahoma State All-American Mark Perry. And he defends that #1 ranking, improving to 21-0 on the season. Next, one of ASU's NCAA qualifiers from a season ago. Back in Tempe, Oklahoma State. Perfect so far. 21-0 the advantage over Arizona State. But here's one of the Sun Devils' best chances. Kevin Radford, a sophomore and a returning NCAA qualifier at 184, will take on Chris Chionuma of Oklahoma State. Chionuma, senior, comes in at 17-5. Has already earned his undergraduate degree in education, now working on a postgraduate in Stillwater.
Yeah, he's been there for the long haul. He's trained and comes from Missouri. Mike Haggerty was his high school coach. He's a well-known high school coach, built a power program. He's got some great stuff. Chionuma is very slick, and he can change levels fast. A little slick from Radford. Radford's a good, powerful double. He can get, like, his best chances is his offense. Really, the guy who gets the most offense, leg attacks here, should be the guy who gets it done. I mean, that's a good general principle, but I'm saying neither one's a big counter wrestler necessarily. They're both good at getting legs and finishing, and Chionuma's got some good offense. So far, I say Radford's been the aggressor, but still early.
Radford fell out of the rankings just this past week, but he had been rated for much of the season. 17-11 his overall mark.
He's going to have to show some consistency. He's got flashes of brilliance. He grew up in North Carolina and kind of a late bloomer and just kept getting better and better. And they expect that Arizona State was critical. That was impressive.
2 points for the takedown, the first of this bout.
That is exactly what the Arizona State coaches want him to do. Get to the legs and finish, not stop. Explosive double, great mat return. Very impressive work there by Kevin Radford. He's got the crowd into it. They're excited.
You mentioned his North Carolina hometown. He's lived all over the world growing up, including Japan, Germany, and Turkey.
We'll find out if any of them countries taught him any top work, but I doubt it because if they do the Olympic style of freestyle. I suspect he's mostly a takedown man, but and he is. From North Carolina high school wrestling, he's a leg attack machine. Looks like he's going to try to ride for a bit here. Likely go out of bow. Still, even though he ended up on his back, they said he's still in control when they went out of bounds. So Oklahoma State's going to have to go back to the bottom position. John Smith's yelling and ranting. I couldn't tell if he was yelling at his athlete or the referee.
So ASU head coach Sean Charles, now in his 5th season. Haven't had a chance to talk much about Coach Charles just yet, but a 4-time All-American here in the desert. NCAA runner-up in the early 90s a couple of times.
Yeah, he was a leg attack machine. When I coached at Ohio State, one of my athletes, Adam DeSabato, and Sean Charles had a bitter rivalry. They were both really physical, aggressive wrestlers with great leg attacks, and they had some back and forth, just some great wrestling. And Sean Charles, he was coached by Bobby Douglas. He was really good technique on the leg attacks, good setups, good finishes. You know, there you're looking at Coach Charles. He's looking for the future. He's excited about the future of the program. Him and his staff want to take this young team and develop them. So although they're not on Oklahoma State's level right now, they're hoping to get there in the future.
And talking to you in the lead up to this match, Coach Douglas's fingerprint's still all over this program, I know you believe.
And Bobby Douglas laid the foundation for success in this program. As we said, Sean Charles wrestled for him. Brian Stith wrestled for Sean and Tommy Ortiz. Those guys, just the tradition here. And Bobby still comes around with the Sunkist kids and teaches wrestling. And Bobby Douglas is just an icon. He's touched our sport, not just ASU wrestling. And he left here for Arizona State in the mid-90s. Interestingly, when Bobby Douglas left to take the job at Iowa State, John Smith's older brother, Leroy Smith, came in here and started coaching. And they've had a turnover since then. Leroy moved on, and then Tommy Ortiz came in, and that didn't work, and then Sean Charles been in. So there's been a lot of revolving doors here at Arizona State lately. They need to find some stability, and Sean Charles is hoping to be the man for that job.
They'll go back to the center with 8 seconds remaining in the first, and Radford a 2-1 lead.
As you look on at the Arizona State coaching staff, on the near side is Lee Pritz. He's dedicated lightweight coach. And then Brian Stitt is the middleweight coach, and he was an NCAA finalist for Arizona State.
Before the final horn there, Chionuma with a takedown and a 3-2 advantage.
Well, this was a huge takedown for Arizona State. He went from a double to a body lift, threw him down with authority, and really was in control of most of the first period. But at the end of the first period, Radford made a critical mistake. He gave up a takedown with short time left on the clock. And when that happens, you don't have time to escape. So even though they got one takedown each, Chionuma's winning. That was huge, that takedown. You wrestlers at home, if you want to be scoring at the end of a period, like Oklahoma State did, not giving up points like Arizona State did.
And gets another for the escape here to start the second.
Now, Kevin Radford has to get back to that double leg. Interestingly, and you saw on the replay just a few seconds ago, he came off the double leg to the body, which is not necessarily always best to do. So he's got to finish. He's got to stay on that leg and finish. He's stopping. Now we got to scramble. It's still anybody's game right here. Out of bounds. Kevin Radford has to finish. And then Lee Pritz, the assistant coach for Arizona State, is on the mat. I can't tell exactly what he's telling him, but I'm sure it's along those lines. Like, you get in, you have to finish.
There you go.
Right now, Chionuma from Oklahoma State's controlling the pie. He's got the head, he's pressing. You see Radford backing out. He can get warned for stalling. He should circle in. He's slowing down a little bit. I don't understand why he's not circling in. And the referee's looking at him thinking, I might warn you for stalling if you do that again. I feel it. I'm sure the referee literally thinking, I'm going to warn you if you go out again. He was close right there. He's backing up again. You cannot back to the edge like that. You have to circle in and battle. And there you have it. The referee's calling stalling like it should be. Charlie Jones on the ball, and he bangs him for stalling. Let's see if that wakes up Kevin Radford. Kevin Radford is running out of gas a little bit. He's getting flat-footed. Chionuma is picking up his intensity. He's moving his feet. There's a shot by Radford. That's one good lunge. The technique's not real good, though. He just kind of dropped in there. He's stopping. Now he might get cradled. Radford from Arizona State stopped. He didn't go into the finish technique. Now, John Smith, the Oklahoma State coach, popularized that specific low single takedown. But why he did it so well, looking at John, he did it well because he had great finishes. You've got to be great at finishing with good technique if you're going to dive in there low. Kevin Radford's got to circle in. There you go. That's what he needs to do. You see he's obviously capable. He's getting a little fatigued. You see Lee Fritz giving him some encouragement. The fans are rooting at him. Short time right here. That would have been a great opportunity for Radford to score.
It will be 4-2 in favor of Chionuma as we go to the third, trying to secure the 5th win of the day for John Smith's Oklahoma State Cowboys. They have a 21-0 advantage. Kevin Radford, though, within striking distance, a chance to earn the first points of the day for the Sun Devils.
All right, he's coming up hard. I think Oklahoma State's going to let him go. All right, it's going to come down to a takedown. It's a one takedown match. They've each had one takedown. Radford's going to have to get in there and fight.
Takes his shot, looking for the left leg. And they go out.
Ooh, wow, he's coming. Now look, you see, he's tired. That's unacceptable. The Arizona State coaches want him back in the center. Now, I don't know if he's just real anaerobic and he gets tired, or if he cut too much weight and he's fatiguing, but certainly he needs to be able to go hard more consistently throughout the match. This is something the Arizona State coaches are going to have to work on, because they got high expectations for Kevin Radford. He's not wrestling hard the whole 7 minutes. He's backing off again. He's going to get one for stolen if he keeps doing that. If he was in Oklahoma State's gym, he likely would have got hit for a stalling call there, but, you know, the referee is going to give the benefit of the doubt there. There's not as much pressure. There's not as much fan noise. He keeps backing out again. The referee's going to have no choice but to hit him with stalling.
Riding time not a factor, so the score you see is true, and as Ken pointed out, could be decided by a takedown.
All right, Kevin Radford's looking for one more leg attack. That's what he needs. One good leg attack to win. Okay, let's see if he can catch his breath as they head back to the center. And that's the key. The Arizona State's are pumped. They want him to get it done. He's got to respond. He's got the traps to do it if he can just give him the legs.
Sure does, my goodness.
Holy
physical conditioning, he is a specimen.
He's got to get a hold of the guy's legs to use those traps, though. Right now, he's just blocking.
Radford within reach of ASU's first individual win of the day.
Absolutely. And you know, at the end of the first period, he gave up that takedown. Not only was it bad to give up the takedown, but he gave it up at the end of the period, and that's the difference in this match. They've got one takedown each so far. It's an even match. But Chionuma's winning on the scoreboard because he got the takedown at the end of the period.
And prevented Radford from the escape, as she pointed out, in a one-point match.
Wow. Chionuma goes in too easy. Too easy. Single leg. Radford just didn't have it to get it done there. He's going to have to keep working to improve. He's going to climb up in the rankings. Okay, we still have a match. Kevin Radford, if he can catch his breath and explode for 15 seconds, if he can get 1 and 2, it's a really important strategy you work on. 1 for the escape, 2 for the takedown. That's his chance. Let's see what he's got. Not happening, JB.
And the conditioning, I think you rightly pointed out, is the reason.
Wow. Yeah, laying on the mat in your hometown, in your home. Wow, the crowd, she took it out of the crowd, too. They were hoping for an exciting 10 seconds.
So the Pokes go a perfect 5 for 5 before intermission. And they will take a 24-0 advantage over ASU into the break.
Wow, very dominating performance by Oklahoma State. Nice single leg that wins and closes the deal for Okie State.
Back on the mats at Wells Fargo Arena, site of this year's Pac-12 Championship Tournament. Oklahoma State, ranked number 2 in the country with a 24-0 lead over ASU on the strength of 3 pins and 2 decisions. And as we get back underway at 197, their total will quickly become 30-0 as Blake Rochoff will not get a chance to wrestle today. He will come out and take his team points as Arizona State's Jake Meredith, 22-5 on this season, will have to forfeit. Team's best wrestler not feeling up to the task and battling some injury trouble. Ken Chertow, JB Long, glad you're with us for college wrestling on the Pac-12 networks here in the desert. And the forfeit announcement being made now at 197. A couple of push-up standouts honored with T-shirts during our intermission there. Ken, you had the official count. How'd the youngsters do?
It was very, very close, but they all blew away Sparky, the mascot.
Oh, they sure did.
I mean, they are really impressive young studs. I actually know one of the kids. They just flashed his father wrestled with me at Penn State.
You're kidding?
Yeah, and the one I think he lost the push-up contest. So I don't know. It was pretty close. They gave it to the littlest guy.
So with 197 defaulted, we go right ahead to our featured heavyweight matchup. They call him Z, Allen, Gelogaev, and Levi Cooper for ASU.
Well, here's the scoop, JB. For Cooper to win, he's going to have to get a leg attack and finish clean. I mean, Gelogaev is a defensive machine. He's got great hips. He's got a great whizzer. if Cooper has a chance, he's got to get on the offense, because if he stands around, Z will pick him apart too. I mean, he'll go at the leg attacks. He's got a good slide by, good whizzer, hip sags. So Arizona State's got to get on the offense, and they have to finish.
Matchup of a couple of seniors, a couple of All-Americans. They've met twice previously, with Gelogaev taking both. 2-0 against Levi Cooper in his career, including a 6-1 victory last January in Stillwater.
Well, heavyweight hand fight going on. It's nothing getting too aggressive. Gelogaev's a pretty patient guy. He's got great stuff, but he's not real aggressive, kind of like a European, Russian style. He came from Russia. He came to the Olympic Training Center to work out, and met Daniel Cormier, one of the Oklahoma State NCAA champions, who was on our last Olympic team, and kind of hooked up. Oh, this is his move. Oh, watch this. This is amazing stuff. Wow. This could be over. He might pin him right here.
2 for the takedown. Back points counting. And it's over. That quickly. Alan Gelogaev improves to 14-2 and 3-0 all-time against Cooper.
Yeah, Cooper didn't get any leg attacks going. He let Gelogaev control his tie. That's what he does.
The Pokes still perfect on the day. Another fall in their favor. Couple of Pokes making the road trip down to Tempe from Stillwater, and they've been rewarded with a 36-0 showing by the #2 team in the nation. And after a quick bout at the heavyweight round, we double around to the 125s now, and this should be a good one. Eddie Klimara for Oklahoma State, 20 wins to his credit this season, tied for the team lead with Chris Perry and Jordan Oliver. And Dalton Miller for ASU has been good against the best this season. He's also coming off his first ever Pac-12 win last week against Boise.
Well, we thought last match Arizona State had a chance, and they clearly didn't make it happen there. But Dalton Miller, this is one of Arizona State's best chances for a victory. So this is a critical match. If we're going to send these fans home with a win, he's in on a sweep single. He's got to pick it up. This is the low ankle whizzer counter. Dalton Miller from Arizona State has to pick it up to his left hip. He's going to get stalemated here. He doesn't know what to do. He's just pausing, because that's a good tight low whizzer by Klimara from Oklahoma State.
Miller defeated the defending Division II NCAA champion. His name's Kyle McCright of Grand Canyon University earlier this season. He's also given fits to this conference top-ranked 125er, Tyler Irumira of CSU Bakersfield. The first takedown and the first 2 points go Oklahoma State's way.
Well, he definitely got in on a nice leg attack there. And if he can keep that up, he'll dominate. But, let's see if he can keep the pace. Sometimes Klimara wrestles in spurts. Dalton Miller, pretty much a goer. He's pretty energetic. Not necessarily the prettiest techniques, but he'll go at it and go hard. This is critical. I mean, he's got to get his arm free and get moving here.
Klimara's the freshman. He's from Joliet, Illinois. Former All-State selection and an All-American as well at Providence Catholic.
Yeah, he was a good prospect. Oklahoma State brought him in from all the way in the Midwest from Illinois. But he's got to get going on bottom. There's a nice Granby. Let's see if he's got a second move. No chain wrestling. Half stand up. Klimara there's a little roll. Now this is a good scramble position. High head's going to win. High head, high hips. And Klimara does that. Klimara wins with the high head and high hips. He won that scramble. But in a funk position like that, so critical to get your head up and your hips up. Ooh, he almost did that to himself. He tried a changeover, ended up on his back. Very nearly getting pinned here.
Charlie Jones, our referee, counting out the near fall points in 3, going Klimara's favor.
Wow, that's a huge mess up, JB. He hit a hip heist changeover. He was trying to create some motion. He just put himself to his back. That was not something Klimara necessarily was looking for. Just a mess up by Arizona State.
Klimara also picking up 1:33 of riding time with 41 seconds remaining in this 3-minute first period.
Well, that's going to allow Oklahoma State to relax a little bit. Here, I talked to Sean Charles before the match. They hope to keep the pressure on Klimara. They wanted Dalton Miller to really wear him down, keep it close, get some action going, and try to win in the end. With in general in a close match. But right now they're allowing Dalton Miller's just getting blown away. Klimara's open in the matchup. If he gets this set of back points, it'll be unsurmountable, lead. This is a Turk. If he can get his right hand around the neck, which he's not been able to do yet, he can get him to his back. A good job by Dalton Miller to escape from that position. I see Anthony Robles looking on painfully. Dalton and Anthony are the main workout partners. When Anthony was coming through here and winning his NCAA championship, becoming a multi-time All-American, Dalton Miller was his main training partner.
This is his weight class, also Sean Charles' weight class, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a favorite of the Sun Devils here in the desert.
A little bit. Charles kept growing. Charles ended up at 133, but yes, he did start. He's a lightweight, and but as you see now, he's no longer a 125 pounder. He's pretty thick, and I'm sure he's in there banging with the middleweights.
Well, you and I aren't 125ers anymore either, are we?
You're still pretty lean and mean, JB. I'm trying to get down to fighting weight. I've been lean and mean. That's what you want to stay.
Keep going, Eddie.
With the escape, Klimara's lead grows to 6-0. And he has more than 2 minutes of riding time in his favor as well.
He's in deep. Boy, he's just pulling that right in.
You're out.
Now, this position we saw earlier, but it was the other way around. This is bad news for Arizona State. He's got an airside cradle locked up. If he can circle his head in, if he can circle him in, Arizona State's in big trouble.
Already 2 for the takedown.
Dalton Miller's got to get to that edge. He's got to break that cradle, and Oklahoma State's got to jerk him in hard. He needs to post a... Wow. He wasn't greedy enough. Whereby Jordan Oliver got a cradle and just closed the deal, Klimara was a little bit hesitant with that near side cradle. That was a unique move he did right there. He went from the low whizzer, the single leg. He was getting low whizzer counter, and he slapped the near side cradle on, which is good tactic.
Good. Get his hands out. Here it comes.
Trying to suck him back again. This time, Dalton Miller makes sure he doesn't get sucked back. Oh, that's a nice ninja flip. Beautiful flip. I like it. Good. That was a gutsy move. That's why I call it a ninja flip. You got to hit it like a ninja warrior. Oh, no change in position. He's still down. That pretty move, and he doesn't get any points because he didn't follow it up with an escape. He stopped after he flipped. False start. Jumped the gun a little bit there. Well, Dalton Miller is not getting it done on bottom. He's going to have to work on his stand-up and his changeover. And he's got a nice Granby, but he's not finished any of them yet. It's all about chain wrestling on bottom. You got to put your moves together in succession. If he's going to escape, he's going to have to do more than just one move. Unless Klimara decides to let him go, which I don't expect here. You got short time on the clock. Now, Dalton Miller needs to explode move. What that did is that got him a fresh start. So even though he didn't escape, he gets to go back to the bottom in the center, and he gets a fresh start. Let's see what he's got in these 23 seconds. He's got to get himself back in the match, and now is the time to do it. What he does with these 23 seconds is important.
Score effectively 9-0 in Klimara's favor as he has more than 3 minutes of riding time in his favor. The final 22 of our seconds.
Look, maybe another ninja flip.
Good.
He's got to get to his feet.
Attaboy, chop hard.
He's got to pressure back.
Drop it.
He's coming. Short time left, about 10 seconds. Too slow. There's no place for slow rolls. If you're going to roll, you got to roll fast.
And so we'll go to the third with Klimara in position for another bonus point win for the Pokes.
Look at this ninja flip, but then he stopped. Got to keep wrestling.
Good job, Eddie.
Wow. Brave, courageous move. Didn't quite work as he had hoped.
Let's go. Go,
Klimara trying to keep pace with Chris Perry and Jordan Oliver for Oklahoma State's wins lead. Looking for his 21st of the season.
All right, front headlock by Okie State. Let's see what he can do to finish it. He's got the head in the hole, cross knee tap, good scramble, throw by. Klimara came to wrestle here.
2 for the takedown, a 10-0 advantage. Minute and a half to go in the third.
Well, Arizona State coaches are going to have to get back to the practice room and get after him. I mean, they had high hopes and expectations for this particular bout. And heavyweight. I mean, in their minds, they thought heavyweight and 125 were matches they could possibly win. You're looking at the Arizona State coaches right there, and they're definitely not happy.
Miller gets 1 for the escape, but it's still 10-2 in Klimara's favor. And again, another point awaits him in riding time.
Got a little blood time. Not sure, just a little scrape on the nose, nothing major. But we're going to see another good, hard 1 minute and 20 seconds of battle.
Stay down on the whistle. Hit it. Go.
They're both still going at it.
There you go. Go.
And Miller has nothing to lose. He ought to be getting in on the single leg and trying to finish. Right now, Oklahoma State's being the aggressor. If I was getting beat 10-2, your strategy's got to be to get in and get something going. You got to get some offense, get on top somehow. Right now, he's not getting her done there.
Jordan, hey, let's go. Finish up here. Finish up. Finish up. Go get one.
Dalton Miller plays 4th in the Pac-12 tourney last year, but in trouble here against the freshman from Joliet, Illinois.
Tried to twist her right there and didn't have it tight at all. Oklahoma State's going to go another takedown. Just keep battling away. I feel bad for Anthony Robles. I see it in his body language. As you see John Smith looking out, he's feeling pretty good about things. But Anthony just doesn't look happy. He came to watch his training partner Dalton Miller, and this whole match right now it's just going not going good for ASU.
Shuck it.
That's the sucker drag. That's another almost for Dalton Miller. He almost scored, but that doesn't count here today in wrestling. You got to finish your moves.
Hey, one more. Come on. Get one for him. Go get it.
Nice try. Nice move. Inside trip. Closed strong.
So that closes it to 12-5 before the final horn, but 3:46 of riding time in Klimara's favor and a point to be added to his total. And so we move ahead to 133, and Oklahoma State had a couple of choices. Two-time NCAA qualifier John Morrison has wrestled in this class for John Smith, but today they'll go with Tyler Dorrell, a junior from Del City, Oklahoma. And it's Aries Carpio for Arizona State, comes in at 3-11. Carpio's been thrown into the fire as a freshman at 133 following the loss of NCAA qualifier Shane McGough. Two-time state champion in his prep days, though, that at 119. He's from Federal Way, Washington, and Todd Beamer High School.
Nice shot by Dorrell. Good single leg, gets to his feet quickly, finishes almost cleanly. Good battle, another Wizard situation. That time he finished cleanly.
2 for the takedown, first 2 points to the Cowboys.
Going to work on top.
Dorrell from the same hometown as his head coach, John Smith, spent the majority of his first 3 seasons on campus in Stillwater, competing in open tournaments. And how hard is that dynamic for wrestlers not in the starting rotation to stay sharp and await their moment and for Tyler when it comes in his junior season?
You know, if you're persistent, you can pay your dues and get it done. And you got a lot of guys. He chose to go to OSU. He could have went to other schools. He wanted to get in the trenches, be part of that. And he was training with Jordan Oliver and the other lightweights over the years. He just kept getting better and better. I mean, he grew up, you know, around Oklahoma State wrestling, and as you said, he went to John Smith's alma mater, I believe Del City High School. And, you know, so he's just grown up. He's living the dream. He's getting wrestled for Oklahoma State. So, and plus, you get to go to so many open tournaments that you can prepare. So, he's good. The regular in this weight, Jonathan Morrison, is a beast. I mean, he's a senior, and you know, he's one of the top, or junior, I think, but he's one of the top wrestlers in the country. He's expected to be an All-American. So he's still paying his dues.
Morrison carries a number 3 ranking nationally. Not going to wrestle here this afternoon, but Oklahoma State doing just fine in his absence. Another takedown for Dorrell and a 4-1 advantage.
Yeah, this is a dream come true. I mean, growing up in the shadow of OSU wrestling, getting to make the varsity and wrestling and dual meet. Looks like he's putting the hammer down.
Head up. Get your head up. Head up.
Oklahoma State leads the all-time series against ASU 38-4. Under John Smith, they've been dominant not only against the Sun Devils, but just about everyone else they've encountered as well, Big 12 and elsewhere. Last time they were in Tempe, they were also ranked number 2 nationally. They routed the Sun Devils 40-4, and we're heading in that direction here again this weekend. Last ASU dual win against Oklahoma State back in 1993 to show you how consistent the Pokes have been. 34 national team titles to their credit. That ends the first period, 4-1 in Dorrell's favor.
Nice little scramble here. Oklahoma State wins the scramble, and that's key. You know, there's sometimes you see clean techniques, but in some cases you just got to keep wrestling and scrambling, and that was a nice job by OSU.
Give another for the escape.
Well, you mentioned Carpio's background, this champion in Washington. Now he's trying to make a mark for himself, you know, as a true freshman here. Has his hands full. He's actually a 25-pounder. He can't beat Dalton Miller, so he's just getting bullied here a little bit. Nothing pretty. He's kind of getting pushed around the scramble. He's fighting for it. Staying there. He could possibly fend off this takedown. Keep that wrist, and once you touch your toe out. So in college, if you guys don't see a lot of college wrestling, all you have to do is keep one body part in. It could be your toe, your pinky. They keep wrestling. Now, if your foot goes out of bounds, then if the foot goes on the gym floor, then they stop you. And that's what you saw there.
Midway through our second period. Now, let me ask you something we haven't had a chance to talk a lot about today. A lot of these Sun Devils overmatched individually in today's pairings. You know, what does it take for David to slay Goliath in the sport of collegiate wrestling? We've seen it happen before, but what's your approach if you're a heavy underdog in your individual matchup?
Keep it close, win some close matches, big moves, go for some pins when you have the opportunity. I mean, if you're good at the headlock or the twister, those are some big 6-point moves. And again, if you're in a close match, maybe you don't have a big pin move, but you can keep it close, find a way to beat the guy in a close match at the end.
And so it sounds like you have to be willing to adjust on the fly. You want to come out aggressive, maybe make something happen, but then let the match dictate your strategy from that point if you find yourself in a more strategic position.
Each individual match, each individual bout is different. Your strategy is going to be dictated a little bit by who you're wrestling and what your strengths are. So in each case here, Arizona State had a chance in 3 or 4 matches, and they didn't do what they needed to do to slay Goliath.
Right.
You know, they tried, but Goliath definitely came in here, and they're the powerhouse that they are for a reason. I mean, they got a rich tradition of wrestling, but this is motivation for ASU. It's good for ASU to have them in town. It pulled in a couple thousand fans. Then, you know, they put these guys in the arena, get a nice turnout, and it's just good for the sport in general.
There for the escape as we begin our third period. Minute 37 in riding time in Dorrell's favor.
He's looking for a slide by. Carpio fought hands pretty good there. Well, this is huge for you high school wrestlers out there. I mean, we got true freshman at 133 starting for Arizona State, and he had to move up a way. There's some opportunities out there. 141 is going to be another true freshman coming up for Arizona State, Matt Krause. Interestingly, he was coached in high school by Lee Prince, the assistant coach here. His high school coach coached Matt Krause. So that's a small world recruiting department. Well, Arizona State's got to get some back pressure here. Right now, he's just sealing off. He's got his elbow. He's got to get pressure back into his opponent. He's just stopping there on the mat. Oklahoma State's riding hard. There you go. He's going for the cradle. He lets him go. He's going to work on his feet. He's going to work towards that major decision. Nice shot by Carpio. Again, the low single. We saw this earlier by Arizona State wrestler. Let's see what kind of finishes he can do. He needs to raise his head up.
And for major decision, looking for 8 points or more, his edge. Right now it's 6. Get 2 more with the takedown. Perhaps also has more than 2 minutes of riding time. So he should get an extra point in the final 30 seconds have evaporated.
Yep. Another nice leg attack by Arizona State. Good. The funk flip. No control yet. Even though it looks like he's on top, Oklahoma State has his leg underneath. There's no control yet. So Oklahoma State, if they can win this scramble, they get a major decision. Oh, here he comes. We got short time, and he does.
2 points there, another for riding time. It'll be a major decision for Tyler Dorrell, and even without their third-ranked national wrestler at 133, Oklahoma State stays perfect in this duel. One more break here. Our final bout of the day coming up at 141. Welcome back to Wells Fargo Arena in Tempe. Number 2 Oklahoma State is going to get this dual win over Arizona State. Through the first 9, they were a perfect 44-0 over the Sun Devils. They're going to forfeit this final weight class. It's at 141, and their starter, sophomore Julian Fikert, apparently not at 100%. So with the duel already decided, they'll raise Matt Krause's hand for Arizona State. The Sun Devils will get some points on the board, but this one heavily in the Pokes' favor. Ken Churchill.
Absolutely. Oklahoma State came to wrestle. They took this very seriously, came in prepared, and they wrestled well. They had great attacks.
Now, we're going to see Arizona State again in a couple of weeks. Actually, the 9th of February up in Corvallis against Oregon State. We've seen both of these programs in our first 2 Pac-12 wrestling broadcasts. What do the Sun Devils have to do to kind of regroup and be competitive in that matchup?
Well, the Sun Devils will be competitive against Oregon State. When they go up there on February 9th, and that's a Sunday match, they'll be ready to go. They got to get healthy. That's what they got to do.
As we take a look at today's results, how about a thought, too, on what you saw from the second-ranked team in the country in Oklahoma State? What will be their chances when we come around to NCAAs?
Well, Oklahoma State's one of the very best teams this season in the country. They're ranked second. They beat some of the top Big Ten teams. They're the real deal. I mean, you see it up and down the lineup, starting from their stud, Jordan Oliver. I mean, domination. Then the fourth match there, Chris Perry. Again, a quick domination. They have 2 number 1 ranked individuals. They're a powerhouse, and we saw it on display today.
Again, the number 2 ranked team in the country. They improved to 11-0 in duels on the season. 44-6 will be the final in this one. You want to put your final touches on our second wrestling broadcast here, Ken?
Well, I think Arizona State's got something to build on. They certainly are going to leave here motivated to get to the drawing board and get prepared for that duel at Oregon State that you mentioned, and the other big duel, the big tournament here, the conference championships, is going to be right here in Tempe. First weekend in March.
You're right, the 2nd of March. 2 more regular season duels to bring you here on the Pac-12 Network before we get to the conference tournament. On the 9th, we'll have ASU at Oregon State. And on the 16th of February, Central Michigan Michigan and Stanford. Ken and I look forward to joining you again then. For now, from Tempe, thank you for being with us. This has been a presentation of the Pac-12 Network's Oklahoma State over Arizona State, 44-6.